Listen, most men don't have a capability problem, especially not those who consider themselves builders, leaders, and entrepreneurs, the type of guys who are willing to grab life by the horns and make it go where they want. They don't have a capability problem. They're some of the best of the best. They have a clarity problem. You see, they have the intelligence, they have the ambition, they have the desire, and they have the ideas. But they're not moving as fast as they should be. They're hesitating. But why? For some reason, they're delaying their decisions to move. They're second guessing their execution. And they have proven that they have what it takes to be great leaders in their own right. But they're carrying a whole lot of extra baggage, a whole lot of extra weight and responsibility. And this is important because when their clarity is weak, even the most capable leaders become inconsistent. So I'm going to show you why clarity is one of the most underrated leadership skills you must develop as a man, and why it changes everything from your decision making to your execution to your ability to build momentum and lead effectively. You see, one reason clarity gets overlooked is because its absence is invisible. Its absence doesn't always look very dramatic. It often looks productive. It often looks like you're overthinking. It often looks like you're constantly planning. And it often looks like endless research, reworking the same ideas over and over and over and over again and waiting for more certainty. You know, from the outside, all of that stuff, all of that looks very responsible. But listen, I'm the coach, so I see it. And often, I see it in guys just like you. It's uncertainty. And uncertainty creates drag. It slows your decision making. It weakens your confidence, and it makes your execution heavier than it really needs to be. That is the hidden cost of low clarity. Clarity is not just knowing what you want. Clarity is being able to see, define, and commit to a stated direction with confidence. And when your clarity is in place, your leadership, it changes. And that changes everything. Clarity allows you to decide faster, execute more confidently, eliminate distractions, and maintain your direction under pressure. But without clarity, every decision you make feels loaded. It feels heavy. With clarity, every decision feels clean, smooth, and it feels light. Not because leadership becomes easy, but because your directions are now defined, your standards can be set. Clarity is underrated because most men mistake motion for progress. They assume that more effort will solve their confusion. They assume and they hope that more information will give them more certainty. And they hope that maybe they'll get more time, and more time will give them more answers, more clarity. But clarity doesn't come from simply waiting or engaging in more activity. It doesn't happen. Not like that. Clarity comes from structured thinking. That's why a lot of capable men stay busy and never gain traction. Listen, I've lived it. I'll tell you, they're active, but they're not clear. Activity without clarity creates movement, wasted movement, not momentum. They're still in the same place they've always been. They're stuck, spinning their wheels. That's why we have to start with clarity. We must define clearly what clarity is. And clarity is the ability to see, define, and commit to a direction with confidence. And that's important because clarity is not passive. It doesn't just happen. It doesn't just show up. It must be constructed and it must be built. And it's built through honest evaluation, structured reflection, and intentional decision making. So clarity is not just something you have. It's something you build. And if you can build it, it can be strengthened. That's what makes it a real leadership skill. But it's a skill most men struggle with because clarity requires confrontation. And believe it or not, most men are not very confrontational. You have to confront and address what you actually want and desire. What you're avoiding has to be addressed. What needs to change has to be addressed. And what you've been unwilling to admit, it has to be addressed. And for most men, especially builders, architects, and leaders, addressing some of those things makes them uncomfortable. The women folk call it being vulnerable. And for you, being vulnerable means admitting your weaknesses. So Rather than admitting their weaknesses, a lot of men stay busy. It's easier to stay busy and keep working because it's easy. You just keep driving, right? It's kind of like driving a car. You just keep driving. You don't have to stop the car. You don't have to roll down the window, and you don't have to ask for directions. You just keep going. Keep driving. Keep planning instead of deciding. You keep researching instead of committing. You keep adjusting fire and hoping you hit something instead of defining, aiming, and shooting directly at the target. So not only are you wasting money, time, and energy, life, you're wasting ammo and intent because clarity doesn't come from avoidance. You can't avoid this. Clarity comes from definition, words spoken and written on paper. Now, when's the last time you wrote something like that on paper? For most men, it's been a while. For a lot of them, it's been never. So listen, if you want more clarity, here's what you do. First, define what you actually want. Not what sounds good, not what looks impressive on paper, but what you actually want to be, do, build, or achieve. Second, remove all the unrelated competing priorities that you're juggling. Clarity requires elimination, and not everything deserves your equal attention. Third, establish your own standards. Every capable man and every independent builder and leader must adapt and install his own standards. That means you must become a master and creator of your own destiny. You must set your own standards and decide what matters most and what doesn't. You must decide what gets protected and what doesn't. You must decide what's acceptable for you, for your life and your operation. And fourth, you must make a decision. Because clarity increases after commitment, not before it. Too many men, too many people wait for perfect clarity before they take action. But clarity deepens once a commitment is made. That's why clarity is one of the most important and most underrated leadership skills that you must develop as a man. You have to have clarity and you have to lead. Now listen, if you just learned something, or if this has helped you to see something more clearly, that's the point. That's what we do. And that's why I do it. Because success doesn't just happen overnight. And it doesn't come from working harder, working alone, or by trying to navigate 100 new ideas all at the same time. And clarity is not just a nice leadership trait. It's one of the things that determine whether you move with confidence or stay stuck in hesitation. Because once clarity is established, everything begins to accelerate. Now, if you're ready to strengthen your clarity, define your direction, and build structured execution around your clarity, press like, subscribe, follow, share the message. And if you're hungry, visit me at powerhousemotivations.com. I have an awesome coaching program and mastermind group that will change your life and leadership forever. I'm out.